I've discussed at length music and radios, but what about other forms of entertainment? How do I fit into with all of this? Hi, I'm your host Heatwave, and today's episode, I'll be exploring radio entertainment in the Empire of Pareena. Heatwave, supper. I made your favorite. Shh, I'm listening to my radio. It has to work, said Stinger, laying out the black map in front of him. The moons will show us the way. It's the only way to the hold. He turned to Sierra, noticing her tongue slithering out. But Stinger, the witch told us the map was a lie. It can't help us. Heatwave. Okay, I'm coming. Welcome back to the Wings of Fire spin-off series Empire of Pareena. In today's lore episode, I'll be exploring other forms of entertainment broadcasted over the radio, and I'll be covering my role with radios. What exactly do I do up in my tower within the Imperial Palace? Of course, music is the most common thing sent over the airwaves, and I have rambled on long enough about music in my other episodes. But the short story is, I play hard copy records of the music the Imperial Orchestra has made and broadcasted over the public frequency. This is what the majority of each rotational broadcast will be about. The average dragon's workday is from sunrise to sunset, so music is typically played from sunrise to just a little after sunset. But that's enough on music. Let's talk about one form of radio entertainment that I adored as a dragonette. The one thing that got me sitting in front of the family radio every evening to listen, even when my father was calling me to come eat. And of course, I'm talking about the fantastic adventures of Stinger the Sandwing. This audio drama was, and still is, very popular across Pareena. Its story begins with a young seawing named Anglefish. As a dragonette, she lost her birth father to a bolt of lightning. While lightning strikes that hit dragons are very rare, they are very dangerous. It essentially superheats the water and moisture inside of a dragon when they're hit by lightning, boiling their organs and brain alive. Anglefish fell into a deep depression for a lot of her dragonette years. Her mother chose another mate, though, a male sandwing named Stinger. At first, Anglefish fell into this angsty teenage state, becoming quite distant from her new adoptive father. But Stinger wasn't one to give up. He introduced Anglefish to the idea of writing her feelings and thoughts down on a scroll. At first, she wrote how much she hated Stinger, but over time, it became admiration. She began to admire him. The fact that her adopted father took on such a big responsibility in her. But that admiration would turn into stories. She turned her adopted father into a character that could do anything. In 2102, the first book of the fantastic adventures of Stinger the Sandwing was published as a dragonette storybook. It tells of a young sandwing relic hunter named Stinger, with his talking sidekick Cobra named Sierra. He would explore old ruins of Pareena's past, battling ghosts and evil necromancers. Of course, this was all fiction. It was all fantasy. Pareena doesn't actually have ancient ruins. It was a very popular book, with 4 additional books being written as sequels. In 2120, the books were converted into a daily audio drama played for at least half an hour in the evening. I, of course, grew up listening to these audio dramas. They featured a narration with the characters then speaking their lines. These audio dramas are privately produced in the first city. Now let's talk a little about what Heatwave, does on the radio. Now, if you remember back to my episode I did on myself, I used to work in the Imperial Library, sorting books and studying history, until I was approached by the Empress to create a deep catalogue of everything on Pareena, for those who were not of dragon origin, or to educate the wider population. So they put me up in a tower in the Imperial Palace with all the equipment I needed. But it's also my responsibility to play music records and present the daily report and news. Each broadcast is kinda set out the same. I'll arrive just before dawn to find a set of scrolls discussing the major events of Pareena. What's the weather like today? What popular produce is on the rise? Has the government announced anything new? Stuff that every dragon should be informed about. I'll then play music for the remainder of the day. During this time, I'll prepare my next episode or catch up on learning the history of Pareena. In the evening, I'll give an update on what events has happened in this rotation before playing some more music before signing off for the night. Now, something I haven't actually mentioned very much when talking about radio's music and public broadcasting is what happened during the War of the Red Sands. Music was still playing at this time during the war. Even troops on the front line could access music in their downtime. It made for an uplifting time away from home. Now, during the War of the Red Sands, the broadcasts were shorter, as there was a curfew installed in the first city and abroad. This meant that the nightlife of many of the cities were suppressed and abandoned, and I was given scrolls describing how the war was going compared to daily news. And it was my job to broadcast that all across Pareena. Good thing it was all good news. We were winning this war. That's what I think gave dragons hope. Pride, even. We were beating back the hated aggressor. I even got to broadcast live the Empress's speech on the eve of Operation Fractured Jaw. Now, I hope to acquire some of the fantastic adventures of Stinger the Sandwing hard copy records to play here for all of you on the channel. I just gotta sweet talk the owners into giving it up. Thanks for watching. Please remember to leave a comment, like, or subscribe to help the algorithm present this content to a wider audience. And don't forget the channel goals with special rewards. This is Heatwave, signing off.